to the True I Speak podcast. I am your host, Raphael Rasheen. You are now listening to the sounds of Big Paul. You can subscribe to the channel, comment and like, and help us grow. With that being said, let's get into the show. Yo. Alright. So today I want to have basically a very important conversation, as always. Yesterday, I decided to basically get the opinion of somebody who do reviews on TikTok. The reason I'm bringing this up because I embraced a valuable lesson. I can't say I learned it because it's something I knew. And yesterday I really embraced it and I benefited from it. And I feel as though to the targeted community, I've been trying to explain this in, different ways about how we respond and, what we do about things. Like, let me say this first of all. And regardless of any situation, I would like to conquer that situation. Meaning, by any means, look, Malcolm X, by any means necessary, I would like to take the situation and I want to learn from it. I want to be strengthened, not weakened. With the targeted community, if you're being targeted, one of the things I hope you realize very fast is these people are is mental warfare. You know what I'm saying? These people are trying to drive you crazy. And we know enough about that. We have other discussions going deep in detail on that. The question I ask you is what you gonna do about it? You gonna, let them weaken you? And if they causing you to, respond in a negative manner, which they are able to use against you, then I think you lose in that battle. We have seen that, they weaponize the government. They try to set people up in different ways and things like that. So, what are you going to do? It's not fair and it might not be right. But what are you going to do? How are you going to respond to this situation? And how are you going to learn from this? How are you going to become a better version of yourself, not a worse version of yourself? How are you going to respond? So let me get into the story. So I go on to TikTok. First of all, I've been investigating different TikToks and especially people into the music industry. It's a couple things, I'm curious about knowing. Definitely being out of tune with social media for so long. I have to really become a student again. And I really don't know what the young people are doing too much, I still consider myself fairly young, but I'm not at my youth, definitely when it comes to music. And I must learn from some people that are, just getting into the game, and I want to see the journey of the up and coming rappers, the up and coming producers, the up and coming talent, period, artists. I want to know what's going on. Not only that, I want to know what the old people doing. I want to know because that's my future. That's a part of my future as well. Um, I want to stay in tune. You know what I mean? On what's going on out here. So just to get into the story, so I joined this discussion. It was only a couple people in there, first of all. About 16 people on average. Uh, so, I knew I wasn't going to invest in this thing, but I knew it would be something I could learn. And I learned a couple different things. And not only learned, again, I embraced things that I already knew. So let me get into it. So the first thing I didn't like about the reviews, I had to wait a nice little while until I got my song played. First of all, let me tell you, it took me a minute to even submit my song because I know I'm not ready for this. Like, I'm like, I want to prepare a little better for what I'm doing. But something told me, just submit your song. So I submitted a song that did extremely well on a different platform. But, I'll speak more on that later. Because it's not even very much important about my song. It's things I noticed before we even got to my song. First of all, he wasn't giving people the time of a day. He listened to the first couple minutes of no, I'm sorry. First couple seconds of your song. And when I say that, I mean literally about 3 seconds. In the first 3 seconds, he would cut your song off and start criticizing it. And I didn't agree with this. I had problems with this. A lot of the songs that, he gave critique on, I actually liked the songs. Even the songs that weren't in the same genre of mine. I'm like, yo, that was a good song. Yeah, every song is not gonna, and most songs are not gonna sound professionally mixed and mastered in this day and age. You know what I mean? So this is things I disagree with of how the guy ran his reviews. But one thing I accepted and I understood and I embraced is this is not my platform. This guy, let me make sure I have my audio right. Hold on. I definitely didn't have my audio right, son, but it's good. At least we noticed it. And so yeah, uh, what I learned from this dude is, I didn't agree with his stuff, but I embraced that it wasn't my platform. This is his domain. He has the right to do things the way he want to do things. And I still felt like I could learn from this. So basically, I stayed around. I stayed the course. I waited till he got to my song. I actually chose to submit my song because of how I felt about what he was doing. I'm like, this dude is a hard critic. You know what I mean? Like he, soon as it come, like but this is one of the things. Most A&Rs and people who are just listening to your music, guess what? That is going to be what they're going to do to you. If they're not familiar with your music, the first couple seconds is very important, is most important. their reaction to it, and most people are not going to be a hard critic like him because his profession and what he was promoting was to be a mixing engineer. So that's one thing. Every person who played something on there, he had a problem with the way they stuff was mixed. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, he's a mixing engineer. So not only is he in the mixing engineer mindset, uh, it's kind of his business to promote mixing. So I accepted this. You understand? And I gained some good knowledge. A couple different tips he threw out every once in a while. A couple things that I wasn't implementing in my midst. And I embraced the fact that, okay, some people are fucking dickheads. Somebody made a comment and they called him Black Simon from like American Idol, or whatever. They called you Black Simon or whatever. And it was funny, and it is what it is. But it's people like this are important. That's the main thing from that I want you to take from this discussion. The devil, I always embrace the devil as being one of the best teachers, if not the best teacher there is. He's a tool. He's a tool of the Most High. I believe he cannot do anything that is he don't have the power to do anything that is not in the Most High's plan. You know what I mean? The Most High knows everything. So I always go by the saying, when my enemy plan, my father plan with him. And I embrace that, and I hope you understand that. I hope you meditate on that, and gain some kind of clarity off of that saying, because it's very deep to me. And anybody who's spiritually inclined, and you call yourself chosen or whatever, you should fully understand that, man. When my enemy plan, my father plans with them. But are you learning? Are you, because when you get put in certain situations, you have the chance again to let it conquer you, or you have the chance to strengthen yourself from it. And again, like I said, one of the main things I wasn't doing, I was overlooking, is gang staging. But again, I was in a mental process of just really trying to experiment and learn new things and get familiar. That was my protocol. But now I am trying to, actually finish something, get something done. And I need to take things more seriously. And one of the most things I wasn't taking seriously was like, gang staging. And this is not one of the things he mentioned, but this is the thing, is one of the things. Well, yes, he did. He mentioned, levels of different other people's stuff being off. And a couple other people levels, they wasn't too bad. They damn sure wasn't as bad as mine. But it wasn't something that I emphasized importance on. And it's very important, if not one of the most important things. I started a different project today, and I didn't put no plugins on the project. I spent time just mainly listening and adjusting levels. And guess what? I'm sitting here and I have to be honest. Just by implementing that alone, I literally have a better mix than mix that I've been fucking mixing for hours and days and shit like that. Like you know, just in a short time, from just focusing on what's most important. And again, the biggest thing I want you to take from this conversation is not letting thoughts and myself get in the way of my progress and me actually learning, man. um uh out here, you're constantly under attack. That's a very bad thing. It is. Don't get my words mixed up. Um, but you can use this to your advantage in different ways. And another thing, before I lose my train of thought, my conclusion with this guy, because he's been so, I still haven't heard his mixes. And in the back of my mind, the whole time I'm saying, I can't wait to listen to this motherfucking shit. Like, he better have the best fucking mixes there is. You understand me? Cause you out here talking big shit. You know what I'm saying? And I came to the conclusion that I'm gonna most likely hire this person. This person is probably going to be my mixing engineer. Why? Because he set the standard high for himself. And this is the same thing with the government, different people, and this is the way I apply things in my life, man. The everybody else, that's involved with that situation, but most importantly, the people who are supposed to be responsible for us. So I'm going to hold him accountable. Um, and this is, I think, the main thing that we must do, as targeted individuals, is not let our situation conquer us, but still hold the people that's supposed to be put them in charge, which they already are in charge, but hold them responsible. You know what I'm saying? This guy, he's not in charge of nothing, so he's free to express himself any way. He has no obligation to me. You understand? But our government, our these agencies, these different people that we are dependent on for different services, they are responsible and they are obligated and they do have a responsibility. So once I hired this dude and put him in charge and he set the standard high, he told us, the rules of the game, which, you see where I'm going here. So, now I can hold him accountable. I can hold him responsible. And I think this is the game that we need to start playing. Stop falling victim to the enemy's trap and becoming a perfect candidate for what they're doing to us. You know what I mean? And I have to be honest, and I'm not acting like I'm perfect. I'm telling y'all of somebody who's in a same situation as you, what I'm learning and what I'm seeing to be true. I can sit here and go out and keep ranting about people, because I would complain about it and make different police reports about, oh, these people sending people drop. Hey, let them do what they doing. What are you doing? Because guess what? Even if you're meditating, are you really getting the most powerful meditation by just blocking everything out when there's nothing there? Or is it more powerful for you to be able to block things out when shit's happening? You know, or I think, it'd be more powerful for you to block shit out when shit's happening. Definitely sometime. Of course, silence and things like that is good sometimes. But damn, if you're able to do that when it's distractions going on, what are you able to do when when you really, you're gonna be able to perform in any situation now. Okay, if you're able to perform when there's distractions and where there's, so use these people as a fucking tool, man. They are a tool. You understand me? The devil is a tool, one of the best tools. If the devil and evil didn't exist, in y'all words, because I don't really use those words, but let's speak on evil and the devil and the ways that y'all use it. Um, if they didn't exist, would you really appreciate good? Would you even be aware of what something good is. Um, these is things you have to ask yourself, and really appreciate people for who they are, man. I appreciate these pieces of trash, who, regardless of who they are. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the beautiful things about life, man. And when you really come to grips with life, when you're able to look around and still see beauty. You know what I'm saying? When you're able to see through the darkness and still be able to see light, still be able to see beauty, I think you're becoming a more powerful person. I'm just seeing too many, and I get it. We are victims. Don't get it. Don't get my words mixed up and fucked up. But come on, man. Like, we can't be a parent like this. And when the enemy is trying to make you appear like this, and make you appear schizophrenic, and this is the weapons he's using against you, and make you appear these, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we gotta respond differently. That's all I'm saying. And it's a lot of us, you're way stronger than and this is something I'm learning a lot. I'm embracing. I have a couple things I can complain about. I have a lot of excuses that I can use, but will my excuses strengthen me, or will they weaken me at the end of the day? Will I use those excuses? And I'm not saying don't complain about things and stuff like that, but what's the next hour looking like after you complain? What's your next day looking like? What's your next what is it looking like? How are you responding? I'm not we have rights to be angry, and rights to definitely complain. We have those rights, son. But what uh, internally is this good for you? How are you responding internally? And yes, you can complain all day long if internally it's not affecting you. But guess what? These people just I watched a lady uh, on TikTok, and I'm just watching how much time is dedicated to these people. Yes, they dedicate that time to you. I get it. I get it. Trust me and believe me, I'm under 24/7 attack and surveillance, and monitoring all this shit. Trust me, I get it. But that's a weakness for them. You can use that to your advantage. You know, I'll go into that deeper later. A lot of this stuff you can use to your advantage, but it depends on how you're perceiving it, how you're responding to it, first of all. Um, Again, I'm a fly on the wall right now, you know. So, anything is good for me. You understand? But before I was a victim, son, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm still a victim by terms, but how it was affecting me internally, made me I was a victim internally. You know what I'm saying? And that's not good, son, because that's what the enemy wants. Now he's able to control you. He's able to control your outcome. And you're probably going along with the program, which most of us are. This lady, she thinks she's complaining about these people. It's only so much you have to really say about them. And then we need to start finding ways to bring more attention, to other things, and other things. Because if you just, promoting gang stalking, it's not really a big platform for it. But yeah, talk a little bit about gang stalking. You know what I'm saying? But, still live your life, man. Still show these people that you have a life, son. Don't let these people control your life, son. And definitely, again, learn. We gonna speak more on this topic and situation because, again, this is most important, the mindset. And I thought that, this story of this guy yesterday. So let me get into. He listened to my song for about less than other people, like literally about 2 3 seconds, and it was a hard song. The song was very hood. It was definitely gangster, so he was right about that. Like, man, you coming on, you going hard already. Okay. One thing I have to accept and embrace, everybody don't like that kind of music. You know what I'm saying? Me, I don't like listening to that music all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes for a long time, I mean, I spent years of my life I didn't listen or want to listen to that kind of music. It did nothing for me. So I understand that and I appreciate that. And, one of the other things that I've been meditating on and embracing for years, actually, and understand completely well is for that kind of music is not a real good fan base behind it. It is some of the most natural uh, 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 fans and supporters, but it's not a supportive fan base. And let me explain. For hood music, and I think it is definitely one of the most important things because it kind of set the fucking tone for everything else, and everybody like listening to it, but everybody don't support it. And the main supporters of it don't spend money on it. I'm just being honest. If we trying to make a living, which most of us are, that fan base don't buy albums. They don't support their artists. A lot of them don't go to concerts and shit like that. For the females and club music and struggle music and different stuff like that, it might not be as widely listened to, but they have a better supportive fan base. Those type of people actually have debit cards. Like people in the hood don't necessarily have debit cards most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So these is things I do understand and I embrace, and is different things with that genre that is bad. Is not as good, especially the supportive fan base. The wide range fan base is crazy. A lot of people, even like this guy, him, critiquing my song. He was like, "Oh, it just came on at 100." Yes, and I cut and trimmed the song actually to do that, and I actually wanted to do that in certain scenes, because like if it's in a movie, like I picture that song coming on in the movie, some gangster shit about to happen, and that song just coming on at 100 because some gangster shit about to come on. So I just like it's a movie to me. Like you know what I'm saying? When I'm making stuff a lot of the time, I'm thinking of stuff like a show, like a actual. Even when I'm writing it, it's like I'm putting myself in a scenario. Like if it's a club song, oh, this is a strip song. This is a love type song, or this is. I'm kind of putting myself in a different. At least that's how I vision things. Um, so yeah, I wanted to do that. So, but I'm not going to explain myself. Okay, dude, I want to know these things. How are people responding? I want to know. And it's just a good thing. It's a good thing. And that's what he's there for. And he's necessary, man. I appreciate him. I told him for sure I embraced him. I gave him a follow. And again, as I said, I'm gonna probably hire this dude. Most likely. I'm gonna listen to some of his mixes, at least if he have a stand, if he not, clickbaiting and, fishing, if he has a good, and I'm gonna hold him accountable to his standards. Um, but I hope you gained some insight. I hope you learned something and you get where I'm going with this thing, man. Definitely let these situations strengthen you, analyze it, analyze how you're responding, analyze how you're looking, analyze how you're embracing things internally What kind of damage is this doing? Or is it strengthening you in different ways? How are you responding internally and externally? How do you look? Because a lot of us is not looking too good, son. You know what I'm saying? By our videos, you would have to ask yourself, if I'm somebody who never experienced this or never went through this, would I believe me? I'm out, y'all. Raphael Rashim, True I Speak Podcast. Until later, peace and love.